The Honest Woodcutter and the Magical Axe. Once upon a time, in a small village at the edge of a dense forest, there lived an honest woodcutter named Arjun. Arjun was known throughout the village for his honesty and hard work. He earned his living by chopping wood and selling it in the market. Arjun lived a simple life in a modest hut with his wife and 2 young children. Despite their modest means, the family was happy and content. They never had much, but what they did have was built on a foundation of honesty and love. One sunny morning, Arjun set off into the forest with his trusty axe to chop wood. He walked deep into the forest, searching for the perfect tree to fell. After a while, he found a large, sturdy tree and began to chop away. As Arjun swung his axe, his mind wandered to his family and their future. Suddenly, he lost his grip on the axe, and it flew out of his hands, landing with a splash in a deep, dark pond nearby. Arjun was devastated. His axe was his most valuable possession and his means of livelihood. Without it, he couldn't earn money to feed his family. He knelt by the pond, his heart heavy with despair, and prayed for a miracle. As Arjun sat by the pond, a bright light appeared before him. From the light emerged a beautiful fairy with shimmering wings and a kind smile. "Why are you so sad, dear woodcutter?" asked the fairy in a gentle voice. Arjun explained his predicament and how he had lost his only axe in the pond. The fairy listened attentively, her eyes filled with compassion. "Do not worry, honest woodcutter," said the fairy. "I will help you retrieve your axe." With that, the fairy dove into the pond, her wings glistening in the sunlight. Moments later, she emerged with a gleaming golden axe. "Is this your axe?" the fairy asked, holding up the dazzling tool. Arjun shook his head and replied, "No, that is not my axe. Mine was a simple iron one." The fairy smiled and disappeared into the pond once more. This time, she returned with a silver axe. "Is this your axe?" she asked again. Arjun shook his head once more and said, "No, that is not my axe either. Mine was a plain iron axe." The fairy smiled again, pleased with Arjun's honesty. She dove into the pond one last time and emerged with Arjun's old iron axe. The fairy was so impressed with Arjun's honesty that she decided to reward him. "Because you were truthful and did not claim the golden or silver axes, I will give you all 3 axes as a reward," said the fairy, handing him the golden and silver axes along with his iron one. Arjun was overjoyed and thanked the fairy profusely. He returned to his village with the 3 axes, eager to share the incredible story with his family. Word of Arjun's good fortune quickly spread throughout the village. The other villagers were amazed by his tale and envious of his new axes. Among them was a greedy woodcutter named Ravi, who saw an opportunity to gain riches for himself. "If Arjun could get a golden and silver axe by being honest, I can do the same," Ravi thought to himself. He devised a plan to trick the fairy into giving him the valuable axes. The next morning, Ravi set off into the forest, carrying his old, worn-out axe. He made his way to the same pond where Arjun had lost his axe. After ensuring that no one was watching, he deliberately threw his axe into the pond and pretended to be distraught. Just as he had hoped, the fairy appeared before him, her wings shimmering in the sunlight. "Why are you so sad, Woodcutter?" the fairy asked. Ravi feigned sadness and explained that he had accidentally dropped his axe into the pond. The fairy, believing him to be honest, promised to help him. The fairy dove into the pond and emerged with a golden axe, just as she had done with Arjun. "Is this your axe?" she asked Ravi. Without hesitation, Ravi exclaimed, "Yes, that is my axe." The fairy's eyes narrowed as she realized that Ravi was lying. She knew that he was trying to deceive her. "Are you sure this is your axe?" she asked again, giving Ravi a chance to correct himself. The fairy's face grew stern as she said, "You are not being truthful, Woodcutter. This golden axe is not yours." With a wave of her hand, the golden axe vanished, and the fairy retrieved Ravi's old, worn-out axe from the pond. "Here is your true axe," she said, handing it back to Ravi. "Because you tried to deceive me, you will not receive any reward." Ravi hung his head in shame as he realized that his greed had cost him dearly. He returned to the village with his old axe, feeling humiliated and regretful. News of Ravi's failed attempt quickly spread throughout the village, serving as a cautionary tale for everyone. The villagers learned that honesty is always rewarded, while deceit and greed only lead to disappointment. Arjun, on the other hand, continued to live a life of honesty and hard work. He used the golden and silver axes wisely, ensuring that his family was well provided for and that they lived comfortably. With his newfound wealth, Arjun was able to help his fellow villagers in times of need. He donated to the village school, provided food for the hungry, and helped rebuild homes that had been damaged by storms. Arjun's acts of generosity and kindness endeared him even more to his fellow villagers, who admired and respected him for his integrity and compassion. One day, a wise elder visited the village. He had heard of Arjun's honesty and wanted to meet the man who had earned the favor of a fairy. The villagers gathered around as the elder spoke with Arjun, eager to hear his words of wisdom. "Arjun," the elder said, "you have shown that honesty and hard work are the true treasures in life. Your actions have brought prosperity not only to your family but to the entire village. You have set an example for all of us to follow." Arjun humbly accepted the elder's praise, knowing that his true reward was the happiness and well-being of his family and village. In honor of Arjun's deeds, the village decided to hold a grand festival. There were games, music, and dancing, and everyone came together to celebrate the spirit of honesty and generosity that Arjun had embodied. The children listened intently as Arjun recounted his adventure with the fairy, their eyes wide with wonder. They vowed to be honest and hardworking like Arjun, knowing that these values would lead to a fulfilling and prosperous life. As the festival continued, a stranger arrived in the village. He was a wandering merchant who had heard of Arjun's story and wanted to see the magical axes for himself. Arjun welcomed the merchant warmly and showed him the golden and silver axes. The merchant was amazed by their beauty and value and offered to buy them from Arjun. The merchant's offer was generous, and Arjun was tempted by the wealth it would bring. He thought of all the things he could do for his family and village with the money. But then he remembered the fairy's words and the lessons he had learned. He realized that the true value of the axes lay not in their material worth but in the honesty and integrity they represented. With a smile, Arjun declined the merchant's offer. "These axes are a reminder of the importance of honesty and hard work," he said. "They have brought me more happiness and prosperity than any amount of money could." The merchant was impressed by Arjun's wisdom and integrity. He thanked Arjun for sharing his story and left the village, spreading the tale of the honest woodcutter wherever he went. As the years passed, Arjun's story became a legend in the village and beyond. Parents told their children the tale of the honest woodcutter and the magical axe, teaching them the values of honesty, hard work, and generosity. Arjun's children grew up with these values, carrying on their father's legacy and ensuring that the spirit of honesty and kindness lived on in the village. One day, a group of travelers arrived in the village. They had heard of Arjun's legendary honesty and wanted to see if he could help them with the problem they were facing. The travelers explained that they were searching for a hidden treasure that was said to be located deep within the forest. However, they needed someone trustworthy to guide them. As Arjun and the travelers ventured deeper into the forest, they encountered many challenges: wild animals, treacherous paths, and dense undergrowth. But with Arjun's guidance and honesty, they overcame each obstacle. As Arjun and the travelers ventured deeper into the forest, they encountered many challenges: wild animals, treacherous paths, and dense undergrowth. But with Arjun's guidance and honesty, they overcame each obstacle. Finally, they reached a clearing where a large, ancient tree stood. According to the traveler's map, the treasure was buried at the base of the tree. With great anticipation, they began to dig. After a while, they unearthed a chest filled with gold coins and precious gems. The travelers were overjoyed and thanked Arjun for his help. The travelers, grateful for Arjun's honesty and assistance, offered him a share of the treasure. Arjun, however, declined their offer, explaining that he was content with what he had and that the treasure rightfully belonged to them. Impressed by Arjun's integrity, the travelers insisted on giving him a small token of their gratitude: a beautiful golden coin inscribed with the words, "Honesty is the greatest treasure." Arjun accepted the coin with a smile, knowing that it was a symbol of the values he held dear. With the treasure secured, the travelers bid Arjun farewell and continued on their journey. Arjun returned to the village, carrying the golden coin as a reminder of his latest adventure. The villagers were amazed by Arjun's tale and admired him even more for his unwavering honesty and humility. Thanks to Arjun's wisdom and integrity, the village continued to prosper. The villagers worked together to build a better future for their community, guided by the values of honesty, hard work, and generosity. Arjun's story inspired everyone to live their lives with integrity, knowing that true happiness and success came from being honest and helping others. As Arjun grew older, he continued to teach his children and grandchildren the importance of honesty and hard work. He shared his stories and experiences, passing down the lessons he had learned throughout his life. One day, as he sat with his family by the pond where his adventure had begun, Arjun spoke of the true treasure he had discovered. Gold and silver may be valuable, he said, but the greatest treasure of all is a heart that is honest and kind. Remember that, and you will always find happiness and prosperity. Arjun's children and grandchildren took his words to heart. They continued to live by the values he had taught them, ensuring that the spirit of honesty and generosity thrived in the village. The villagers, inspired by Arjun's legacy, worked together to create a community where everyone was treated with kindness and respect. They helped one another in times of need and celebrated each other's successes. The golden and silver axes remained in Arjun's family, passed down from generation to generation. They were not used for chopping wood but were displayed as symbols of the family's commitment to honesty and integrity. Visitors from far and wide came to see the magical axes and hear the story of the honest woodcutter. They left the village with a renewed sense of the importance of honesty and kindness in their own lives. Many years later, as Arjun's great-grandchildren played by the pond, the fairy reappeared. She smiled as she watched the children, knowing that Arjun's legacy had endured. "You have done well, honest woodcutter," the fairy said softly. "Your family and village are a testament to the power of honesty and kindness." With a wave of her hand, the fairy blessed the village, ensuring that it would continue to prosper for generations to come. Under the fairy's blessing, the village flourished. New families moved in, bringing with them diverse skills and talents that enriched the community. The villagers continued to uphold the values of honesty, hard work, and generosity, creating a harmonious and prosperous environment for all. In honor of Arjun's legacy, the village established an annual celebration called Honesty Day. Every year, on this day, the villagers gathered to share stories, play games, and celebrate the values that had brought them so much happiness and success. Children performed plays reenacting Arjun's adventures, and the golden and silver axes were displayed for everyone to see. The villagers took pride in their heritage and looked forward to passing these traditions on to future generations. To further honor Arjun's legacy, the village established a scholarship fund for young people who demonstrated exceptional honesty and integrity. The scholarship provided opportunities for education and personal growth, ensuring that the values of honesty and hard work continued to thrive. The scholarship recipients, inspired by Arjun's story, went on to achieve great things in their lives, contributing to the prosperity and well-being of the village and beyond. As Arjun reached the end of his long and fulfilling life, he gathered his family around him one last time. He looked at each of them with love and pride, knowing that they would carry on his legacy. "Remember," he said softly, "honesty is the greatest treasure. It will guide you through life's challenges and bring you true happiness. With those final words, Arjun closed his eyes and passed away peacefully, surrounded by his loved ones. Arjun's family and the villagers mourned his passing, but they also celebrated his life and the lasting impact he had on their community. They continued to live by the values he had taught them, ensuring that his legacy endured. The village thrived, and the story of the honest woodcutter and the magical axe became a timeless tale passed down through generations. It served as a reminder of the power of honesty, kindness, and hard work in creating a prosperous and harmonious life. And so, the village flourished, guided by the lessons of the honest woodcutter who had shown them that true wealth lies not in gold or silver, but in the integrity of one's heart. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more bedtime moral stories. Stay tuned.